There we go. How's that? Better?
Yes.
Okay. So I apologize for that. You know, as good as we've been doing over the past year with Zoom, there are a few things sometimes we forget. But I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want to welcome you. I am Chris Duane, President and CEO of Boys and Girls Club Metro West. And I've been with the clubs for over 25 years. And one of our favorite ways to introduce potential partners to the club is through our, what we call club walks. And we invite people in to see the program in action, meet the kids, and participate in activities. And since we haven't been able to do that for over a year now, we thought we'd introduce you to the club and our board of directors by hearing some of our board members and what they have to say, and a couple of our supporters, and also providing an opportunity to ask questions. Now, we're aiming to end this right at 6 p.m., so we won't keep you too long, but we really want to thank you again for joining us and taking time out of your day to be with us. And I'm going to turn it right now over to Laura.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know I have met and worked with many of you, but I am Laura Trezigny, the Director of Resource Development, and I have been with the club for about 2.5 years now. I'm going to quickly introduce our staff and our board of directors, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So the staff who we have on the call tonight include Steve Zepp, who is our Director of Operations, and he has been with the club in many capacities for about 20 years, and Leah Mangella, who joined us right in the middle of the pandemic last July as our Director of Finance and Benefits Administration. We also have our program directors on the call. We have Barbara Tolan, Director of Child Care Programs, Tammy Pudlow, Director of our Framingham Clubhouse, and, sorry, I'm just admitting a few more people. And Mike Rugg, our club director in Hudson, and Rachel Constanzo, our club director in Marlborough. Right now, we have 17 board members. We have a few new ones who we just added to the board at our annual meeting a few moments ago. Carrie Corkin, who is the president of Entwistle Companies and our new chair of the board. Rosemary Corley, a retired educator and clerk of the board. David D'Angelo, VP of Global Portfolio Management for Thermo Fisher Scientific. Patricia Davidson, partner at Merrick O'Connell. Dominique Jean-Pierre, branch manager at Bank of America. Kay Hodge, attorney at Stoneman, Chandler, and Miller. Reverend Dr. J. Anthony Lloyd, pastor at Greater Framingham Community Church. Janelle Masonette, chief marketing officer at Avidia Bank. William Ortiz, teacher at Framingham High School. James Patterson, CPA. John Petrin, retired town manager. Carrie Robinson, Assistant VP, Marketing Product Manager at Middlesex Savings Bank. Maria Stearns, VP of Client Services at Inside Out Communications. Lauren Todd, VP of Human Resources and Operations at Amoresco. Larissa Thurston, CFO and COO at St. Mary's Credit Union and Treasurer of the Board. Ken Vanasek, retired Sales Manager. Maura Webster, founder of Lilla Blue Strategies. And finally, also on the call tonight, we have Gina Gentili, who is our Outreach and Development Coordinator, and she is helping to make all the technology come together. So we're very lucky to have her. We're so appreciative of all that the board does. They are so engaged and they're very active, and we're very grateful for that. And a special thank you to them for being here tonight. I'd like to turn it over to Carrie Corkin, our new board chair.
Thanks, Laura. Welcome, everybody. I'm Carrie Corkin, and I've been the board chair for about 6 minutes. And I obviously would love to thank Trish for 20 years of service to the board and 10 as chair, and she's done an outstanding job, and I have some big shoes to fill. I was first introduced to the clubs a few years ago when I had the opportunity to do a club walk. These first introductions to the club are so important because you get to see the staff and kids in action and get a real sense of how important it is for the kids to have this safe place to go to. Our goal for today is to introduce you to the club, help share the impact that investments made in the club have on our kids, and answer any outstanding questions you may have. The great work being done wouldn't be possible without partners like you, so thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to turn this over to Priscilla and Lorna, two employees from Boston Scientific who have been very involved with the club for the past couple of years. Priscilla, Lorna?
Awesome. I'm happy to kick it off. Hi, everyone. I am Priscilla Frier. Thank you, Carrie. You're doing a fantastic job 10 minutes in.
Thank you.
Yeah, love it. So I am with Boston Scientific. I am a recruiter here, or what's known as talent acquisition. And Lorna and I co-lead our effort to the Boys and Girls Club, specifically for our Bridge Boston ERG, which is known as our employee resource group, specifically supporting and leading Black leaders here in the organization. I'll turn it over to Lorna to introduce herself, and then we can talk quickly about our partnership.
Yeah, so as Priscilla mentioned, I'm one of the co-leads for community outreach, and I'm also a financial analyst at Boston Scientific. So one of the events that we wanted to highlight happened last December, and it was it was a virtual school supplies drive, and I really wanted to highlight that because given the pandemic was going on, we were kind of like trying to figure out the best way that we could support the club. And we knew that being in person probably wasn't gonna happen, but we still wanted to do something that was gonna be impactful. And in talking to Laura, she suggested that maybe we do like a virtual event, and we decided to do a school supplies drive. And that was really great because there was a lot of interest. A lot of people like really wanted that, given that school was not in person anymore. There was a lot of need for a lot of supplies and that type of stuff. And then also with speaking to our employees, they were really excited to jump on a call, meet different people, get together, and just do something that was outside of their normal job. Anything to add, Priscilla?
No, I think one of the things about the school supply kits for the students is initially the goal was to support them, like especially the families who are kind of struggling, but it ended up being a great team building activity for all of us, right? We haven't really been together for that year, and to be able to get on a Zoom call, super simple, just to put some school supplies in a bag, write cute little notes. People had their children on the call, so it was great to kind of have that team bonding activity. One of the things that we want to do, April, is partner with another ERG and maybe do like an art activity or book reading. We wanted to do that this month, but with kids having to go back to school, I think there's just some limitations. So looking forward to reaching out and expanding our ability to support the clubs as needed.
Thank you so much for telling us a little bit about what you've been doing. We are very, very grateful for all that you and all the other employees at Boston Scientific do for the clubs and the kids, and just want to thank you for that. Up next, I'd like to introduce Jill Stansky. She's a trustee of the Sudbury Foundation. Jill, along with the foundation, has supported our clubs during some of our most critical times, and we're very lucky to have such a strong partnership. Jill?
Thank you for inviting me. It's a privilege to support this organization. You know, as an organization, we're always looking for new ideas, new organizations to support, but we don't forget about the really great ones that we have been doing great work in our community for over 20 years. I've done a number of your walks through your facilities. I do miss them. They're always a great day when we get to actually come and see all the great work you're doing. We've supported Boys and Girls Club of Metro West because we believe their programs and services provide deep and meaningful support for the kids of all ages. And you've done that day in and day out for so many years, and have evolved to, you know, always an even better organization. We love that you encourage good citizenship, thinking beyond oneself and contributing to the community, that you help kids to feel like they belong, especially in times like this, which have been so hard, that you connect kids with caring adults, you build esteem through your activities, and most of all, the clubs keep the kids safe, active, engaged, and learning after school, which is just an important thing. And it's all done with a very affordable cost. And that is probably, you know, one of the key things that Boys and Girls Club offers to the communities it serves. So we're proud to be a supporter, and thank you for inviting me to say that to your trustees and supporters.
You've been a terrific partner, and thank you for all you've done, and thank you for the nice words. So Laura, are you up next, or have I lost my place here somehow?
Nope, you're good. I think Trish, our past board chair, is gonna say a few words.
That's right. And I wanted to echo what Carrie said in thanking Jill for speaking so eloquently about why the Sudbury Foundation supports our clubs and continues to support our clubs. It's been a little bit of a running joke this evening that I've been around a long time, but I've been able to see the very direct impact that the Sudbury Foundation has had on our organization, particularly when we needed it most. So we truly view our relationship with the Sudbury Foundation as a partnership, and we remain very, very grateful for that ongoing support, and appreciate how you've identified the work that we try to do to make things better for our kids and certainly better for our communities. And it's my great pleasure to introduce now Larissa Thurston. She is a relatively new board member from St. Mary's Credit Union. She is our new treasurer, and she jumped in when times were tough right at the start of COVID. But it's been a pleasure to start to get to know her, and I would like to introduce you to her and have her tell us a little bit about why she did join the board.
Thank you. I didn't know there was going to be this picture up on here. So no, thank you, Trish. Again, and thank you to the guests from Boston Scientific and the Sudbury Foundation. Really inspiring and grateful for all that you share with us. My name is Larissa Thurston. I'm the COO and CFO at St. Mary's Credit Union here in Marlborough. Just over a year ago, I actually met face-to-face the last time with Chris and Laura to talk about the board at the Boys and Girls Club Metro West. And I was very excited about the opportunity, and we shared some stories. I'm very passionate about children and making sure that we're supporting the community. And I really wanted to make sure that we're supporting those young people. I see the club really as providing a second home and a second family for the youth. And there's really nothing more important than us to be able to provide that safe, healthy, inclusive, and supportive environment for our children to flourish in. I did join the board, and we were chit-chatting again. That last face-to-face about visiting the kids in the staff, and I shared with them my passion for STEM activities, and I was so excited to think about getting in there and getting to sit with the kids, and hopefully maybe this summer or this fall I'll be able to sit down and engage with some of our kids with some of the science and engineering activities. During my time on the board this year, I've really seen the dedication and the creativity of the staff of our Boys and Girls Clubs. Their perseverance is really the reason that this club is so successful during one of the most challenging times we've seen in our lifetime, and hopefully we don't have any more like this going forward. This team really provides the much needed inclusive and supportive channel for our kids during this highly volatile time. And I'm just very honored to be able to serve on this committee with such a dedicated board and staff, and really appreciative of all of your time tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Larissa. We're so lucky to have you. Now we are going to open up the question and answer portion of the night. We did have a few people who pre-submitted questions, so I thought we would use those to get us started, but feel free to chat or use the hand raising feature in Zoom if anybody has any questions. I'll keep an eye out for that. But the first question that we had that was pre-submitted, which I thought was so timely and important for us to share, was how have the clubs adapted during COVID-19 and what have we done? So Barbara, do you want to hop on and share a little bit?
Sure. Good evening. I'm Barbara Tolland, Director of Childcare Programs for the clubs. And like everyone else, we pivoted this year to better serve the youth who needed us most. In response to COVID, we opened 2 remote learning support sites licensed under the Department of Early Education and Childcare in Marlborough. Plus, we hosted additional sites in Framingham and Hudson. Through our remote learning programs, we served more than 100 youth every day, and we were open from 7:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. So, youth experience the challenges of COVID too. Our remote learning sites were difficult, and many experienced anxiety and deep concerns for their families. So Tammy had an instance of a little girl who returned to the club after having COVID, and she didn't want her parents to return to work out of fear that something would happen to them. And she consistently asked Tammy if she or her family would die from COVID. So the challenges that the kids faced were very real, and our staff were there to support them through it. So our staff have transformed into, other roles such as teachers and social workers, activity planners, and so much more over the past year.
Laura, can I jump in there a little bit?
Absolutely.
Awesome. What Barbara said, by the way, sorry, I'm Maura Webster. I'm a board member, as the team mentioned earlier, and a lifelong Marlborough resident. Barbara put it so eloquently, right? That our kids they're feeling so much more than we are. Not to say that we're not feeling it, but just in the community and around, the fact that these kids have a place to go where there's consistency is just so critical for them, for their levels of anxiety. I mean, we're dealing with it as adults, and to see kind of how these kids, with the help of their mentors at the club, have been able to really get through it, really, and not just survive, but in such instances, thrive because of the resources they've had. So as a board member, I am continuously in awe when Steve and the team, kind of share these stories with us. And Barbara, hats off to you and your team as well. It's been an incredible experience for these kids.
Thank you, Maura. Yeah, no, we totally agree, and we appreciate all that you do in that opinion, and definitely shout out to Barbara and her team, because they have worked nonstop since last March. The second question that we had pre-submitted was, how is the club planning on maintaining their presence in Framingham in the future? Chris, I know you're passionate about this, so do you want to get started with it?
I think, let me jump in here, and then I can certainly turn it over to Carrie. Let me just give you a little history. That was a great question that was submitted, and the history of our Framingham presence. The Framingham Club was added to our organization in 1999. So after we responded to the then Town of Framingham RFP for an after-school youth program, the primary purpose for the town was to serve youth on the south side of Framingham that were underserved. And so we were awarded through that RFP, and it was a partnership with the Town of Framingham, and they would provide the facility with a 30-year lease, and we provided the services. We grew that program initially serving 40 kids a day to serving 250 kids each day. Very big program. Unfortunately, in 2016, the town informed us they were closing the Danforth building due to structural and heating issues, and all of the tenants would have to vacate. So that sort of put a little damper on the 30-year lease option that we had. We ended up moving our operations over to the old St. Stephen's School, which is on Clinton Street, and we've been there ever since. We've gone from that 30-year lease to it's a year-to-year lease with very high rent, high facility costs, and it's certainly not a permanent solution for the families that we serve. And that kind of gives you a little bit of history of what happened in Framingham, or what we need to, how we ended up where we are. Our other locations have been in place for over 75 years, and Framingham, excuse me, being our newest. But I will say that in 2016, before we closed over at the Pearl Street, the Framingham Club was on target to potentially become our largest club. What we do know is that our Framingham operations is providing a very much needed service to the families that otherwise would not have access to the quality youth development programs. And we need to find a more permanent solution so we can continue to, excuse me, give these kids and families the equal opportunity for success. So our goal in Framingham is very simple, but it's not easy. Our goal is to remain in Framingham and remain in the 01702 Framingham zip code, which is South Framingham. Our goal is to buy a building, renovate an existing building, or buy land and build in South Framingham. Again, I will say, this is our goal. It's a simple goal, but it's not easy. And that's sort of from the operations side of the house. Carrie, do you have anything you might want to add to that?
Carrie, I think you're on mute.
How many times have we all heard that in the last year? Chris, I think that's a great job of giving a little history and how we got here. But the board started to have some discussions about what we're going to do in Framingham on a permanent basis. And I think I speak on behalf of the entire board when I say that doing something in Framingham is a real priority for us. We estimate that we're going to need around $7 million to make this happen, which is a lot of money, but it's really important that we have a permanent home in Framingham. The current space is just not a good long-term solution, and the kids deserve better. So we're going to start looking into how to make this happen. It's a simple thought and quite a task, but I think we can do it. And we're going to be looking for investors and connections to people who may want to invest in this major capital expense and give the kids the permanent space they need. We thank all of you for helping to make this happen. There's many ways that you can contribute, and we'll be, reaching out to everybody in the future to let you know more about the project and how we're going to get started. So again, thank you all for being on right now. Laura, are you going to open it up for general questions for a few minutes?
Yes, we're going to open it up for general questions. We did have one come in the chat, so we're going to go there. But if anyone has any other questions, feel free to send them in the chat, or we'll come back to you after we answer this one. But the one that came in the chat was, what are some priorities of the board, and what are you doing moving forward? Dom, do you want to get in and talk about some of your initiatives, and then maybe Janelle hop in and talk about some of yours?
Absolutely, thank you. Again, my name is Dominique Jean-Pierre. I'm one of the newer board members to join the Boys and Girls Club, joining last year. A little bit about me: I was a club kid growing up, so just about all of my childhood after school consisted of being at the Boys and Girls Club. Helped me develop a lot of skills, teamwork, collaboration, helped me become a captain of my team, and now I'm a financial center manager here in Marlborough. And being part of this board gives me a chance to give back to a place that helped me achieve so much. So yeah, I'm fortunate to have taken on the role of co-leading our diversity and inclusion committee with Patricia. We believe that there's a need to bring awareness from the board level down to our full and part-time staff on how we can create a more inclusive culture than we currently have. It doesn't just end at a staff level. We want to make sure that our kids know that they have a place where being diverse is celebrated and acknowledged. They do not have to hide or disguise who they are for any reason. So right now we're in the very early stages of development of this committee. We've just formed the committee, which includes board members, some senior staff, along with some full and part-time staff members. In order to move on and incorporate DEI into the club, we've agreed that we'll need to start by going through some training to gauge and increase our knowledge on the subject, and also gain a deeper understanding of how we can effectively incorporate the right knowledge and values throughout the club and community. Again, as we continue this journey, we're going to place some of our commitments to diversity and inclusion on the website. We will continue to educate each other in our community, and we'll make sure that everything we do keeps the mission in mind. Again, our mission, to enhance the development of children and to prepare young adults to be responsible and productive members of the community. Again, I don't know if Trish, you have anything to add on that. And obviously, if you have any questions, definitely let me know and I can try to answer them.
That was a great summary, Dom.
Thank you.
Okay. I can take the part about resources in development and operations. Hi, my name is Janelle Masonette. I serve on the board of directors for the club for about a year now, so newer to the board, similar to Dom. And I am also on the resource and development committee. I've been this chief marketing officer for Vidya Bank for about 2 years now. But I do have over 15 years of marketing experience from a variety of industries. Really enjoy being on the, being a part of the club, and you know, having being also a sponsor for the club as well. It's very, very fulfilling and very rewarding. And from a resource and development operations perspective, we're really focused on building strong relationships in the community and securing sustainable funding sources. Currently, the club is determining what summer camp is going to look like this year, which is, as you can imagine, a big challenge. And then also planning for the upcoming school year. Again, just really focused on funding is so important for us. The youth membership fee is very affordable, only at $25 a year. And with a 2.9 million operating budget, it's critical to have great partnerships and investments into our programs that will keep us successful and viable. Again, from my own personal experience, partnering with the Boys and Girls Club has really helped highlight how Vidya Bank gives back to the community. And I'm really appreciative how they're always open to unique and creative ideas. It's really worthwhile being a part of a club and donating and really seeing how you're able to give back. For example, this past year, we partnered with Stefan Gilmore from the New England Patriots and the Sports Hub for our Be a Champion for a Child program, where we sent a mentor and a mentee to the games when we were able to, actually a little bit over a year ago. And then we also donated $1,000 for every defensive play, and up to $30,000 to the club. So again, we were able to really partner with them, and we actually did a Zoom call with Stefan Gilmore and a Q&A with the boys and with the kids from the club, and really rewarding to see how that program affected them and really paid back to the community. And partnering with the club has been really a great return on investment for the club, for the bank, and for the community overall. And really, really proud of what we've been able to do from a resource development and operations perspective, and happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Dom. Does anybody have any additional questions they'd like to add? Feel free to take yourself off mute and ask. It's just about 6 o'clock, so we did great on timing. Chris, do you have any last words before we hop off?
No, it is just about 6 o'clock, and we did make that promise that it would take 30 minutes and no longer. We are happy to stay on and answer any questions one-on-one or anything that anybody might like. So Laura and I will certainly stay on a little bit longer. But I definitely want to thank all of you, not only our staff, our board, but all of you that have come on tonight and listened, expressed some thoughts, and support, and we really appreciate you taking the time. Again, Club Walks is how we normally do this, and we're looking for new and innovative ways to keep people connected with us, so we really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
You also.
You too.
Thank you. Good
Laura,
night.
you and I, thank you.